Hello potential friends and welcome back to the Vlogging Nook with me, Alexandra. I am back in my childhood home this week with these lovely old stuffed animals and toys, and of course the kitten posters that I ripped out of calendars 10 years ago to post on my wall. Why did I take time off work to come here? Was it to visit my family whom I love and miss? No, it was to relearn how to drive in 4 days ahead of taking my road test to try and get my driver's license. So I don't know how it is in other countries, but in Canada, or at least in Ontario, you have to pass 3 tests to officially be a driver with no restrictions on your license. When you turn 16, you are eligible for your G1 test, which is just a written test. And then you have to actually learn how to drive, and then take a road test to get your G2. People who grow up in the country tend to get their licenses as soon as possible because you have to drive like 17 kilometers just to visit your neighbor. But I was kind of a lazy hermit as a teenager, so I didn't get my G1 until I was 20. My G2, I got the first summer that I had this channel. And if anyone was following me back then, you'll know that I was so convinced I wouldn't pass the test that I wrote a really sad song about crashing the car during practicing the day before the test. True story. But despite the drama, I did actually pass the test and I did get my G2. And since that summer, I've been living in Toronto, which means I haven't had to drive a car in over a year. The problem is that you can't just sit there with your G2. If you let 5 years pass since your G1 without fulfilling the entire process and getting the last thing, which is your G, the third test to say you're an actual driver, then you get slotted down right to the beginning. You have to start over, all over. And this summer, I turned 25. So I took some time off work to come home to the country where there is space to practice and parents to help me relearn how to drive. The question is, would I be successful? Well, we're going to find out after we go through the dramatic events that would unfold in the 4 days before I tried to take my test.
I'm supposed to be getting up right now to go practice driving, but I don't want to.
First time getting back into a car in over a year, I think, and guess what it looks like outside. Yeah, that's a lot of snow.
Alexandra's daily diary of trying to learn how to drive again. Day 1. So we are about to leave to go on a trip to the States. So I'm gonna drive most of the way up, basically up to the border, and then my dad is gonna take over again and drive us over the border and stuff. It'll be my first time driving on a highway, which you need to know how to do. We rented a car, so it's gonna be a fancier car than I'm used to driving, but hopefully we'll be able to tackle the snow that is everywhere. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous to set foot in the driver's seat of a car again. Wish me luck. So, driving didn't actually go the best today. It was my mom in the passenger seat next to me, my dad in the back, and my mom has zero chill, but every time I did something slightly wrong, she would be like, "Oh, Alexandra, what are you doing?" Or she'd like start breathing like and I'm like, oh my god, are you okay? What is happening? So that's just very distracting when you're trying to drive. And that was happening even when I felt like I was doing alright. For a couple moments I was doing less okay. When I was on the highway at one point, a 18-wheeler truck passes me on a curve, and it kicked up this huge wave of snow and slush stuff onto my windshield, and I couldn't see. The road was completely gone, so I like flick on the windshield wipers once. I'm not used to this car, it's a rental car. So I was trying to turn them on, but I accidentally just do one pass. It didn't clear it enough. I started drifting into the other lane, and my mom beside me is having like a panic attack. She's like, oh my god, you can't see. My dad in the back's like, you're in the other lane. And I'm like, yeah, I know guys, I know it's all happening, but I'm dealing with it. So that was stressful moment number one. At one point on the way back, it started snowing so hard that it was just white-out conditions. It was completely horrible. My mom is like whimpering like a guinea pig in the seat next to me. So my dad in the back was like, she's doing fine, she's okay. My mom's like, I think we should switch drivers. And I was like, you know what, maybe I do need to pull over and switch. I think I'm just gonna go for a little bit longer until I spot a section that I can sort of pull over onto. But my parents, again, real antsy. Now that I've said like, oh, maybe I should switch, they're like, she needs to switch now. She needs to switch this moment or she's going to crash the car. They're like, no, just put on your turn signal, put on your turn signal. So I put it on, but we've gotten to a part of the road where the ditch is like sheer at the side of the road. And I'm like, I can't pull over here. So I'm still driving and they're starting to yell at me. They're like, Alexandra, just stop the car, stop the car. I don't know whether they thought I was freaking out or whatever, or I'd forgotten what I was doing. I was just trying to keep driving until I could pull over, but instead, because they were all yelling at me to stop the car, I just slowed down and stopped in the road with cars behind me and like tried to like ease a tiny bit onto the side of the road, and they all were like, no, because they thought I was gonna drive into the ditch because they thought I was an idiot. Day didn't end super great. I mean, dramatically stopping the car in the middle of the road because I can't see to drive, and then switching places with my dad. That was not great. If it is snowing like that during my driver's test, I am just so dead. I'll see y'all tomorrow. You know, yesterday I would have told you this is impossible, but I actually had a worse day today. I didn't film in the morning before we left to go driving because in the morning I woke up feeling so ill that when my mom made some pasta for lunch, I got one smell of the noodles and I immediately vomited in the kitchen sink. Just the entire $5 pizza I ate last night just came rushing out of me. It was really fun. And then I felt so bad. We didn't do the morning driving around that we were going to do. Instead, I went and I lay down. And then we had to go drive to the city to pick up my little brother because he was going to come and spend time with us this weekend. And I still feel like I want to #die. On the drive home, we had this lovely moment. We were on the highway and the lane that I was in was running out. It was going to run out and I didn't see that. And everyone starts yelling at me to like get in the other lane. But I started panicking. I put on my like turn signal, but I couldn't tell. It looked like there were too many cars next to me, so I'm just slowing down. I'm slowing down, and my dad's like, you can't stop on the highway. And finally some kind soul actually like literally basically stopped their car so they could let me in. But I basically came to a full halt on the highway where everyone else is going, you know, 100 kilometers an hour. And then I cried for the next 10 minutes while driving in complete silence. Let me tell you, it's really hard to drive while you're crying. You can't see. Especially when it's, you know, it's night and it's snowing and you're like, great, I'm trying to go to bed early, so hopefully tomorrow I will feel better. And if I drive on the highway, I won't be so stupid as to just, you know, stop because I can't figure out how to merge into the next lane. Doing great, as you can tell. Day 3, please be better. So, day 3, stomach bug update. I still feel like I'm going to die, but I did manage to eat some toast earlier. I'm going to try and eat some rice before we head out on another jaunt to the States. Don't know why I feel so bad, but we'll get through this, and hopefully tonight I will have a little diary entry where I'm like, oh, I did good. So surprise! This isn't the afternoon, this is a whole new day. Because guess what happened shortly after I filmed the last little diary video thing? I ate some rice and then I threw it all up again. So I was feeling so ill at that point that we didn't drive to the States. And in fact, we didn't drive anywhere. I stayed in bed all day. All day! Which, you know, was helpful considering that I have a driving test in 2 days and I need to practice. So,
today, woke up, I am feeling better, I think. I haven't tried eating anything yet. This has been such a clusterfuck so far. Take the effort to take the time off work to go and learn how to drive and take my test and instead get violently ill. Today, me and my little bro are going to drive around together without my parents. Hopefully that'll be less distracting. I haven't shaved my arms either.
Don't hit the people.
I did.
This is not Grand Theft Auto.
I did not hit the person.
Da 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 da. Look at all that field. How do you feel, Alexandra?
Okay, jumping right in there. We're at Tim's. We've just been driving for a bit. I did a couple successful parallel parks, a couple not
Like
so
3.
successful. Thank you. That's more than a couple.
Yeah.
I'm eating this Danish and hopefully I won't throw it up later.
Because she is weak.
This is very rude.
I'm just
not
kidding.
weak. I've been battling illness for 2 days. Oh god. Yep, but we drove around for a while in the same place where I'll be doing the test. And hopefully I didn't do super badly. And I'm feeling better now because I'm not literally throwing up and I've done some driving, so.
Yeah.
Yay!
We're gonna go on an expedition after this.
Yeah, what are we doing after this, Tristan?
I'm going home.
After this, Tristan's going home and I'm driving him there, so. More driving.
Yay!
It's the day of my test. Yesterday was good. I actually can say that I did pretty alright and I didn't have any major screw-ups. I have tons of little minor ones, but nothing big. So I'm feeling better after yesterday. I'm still not thinking I'm gonna pass, obviously, but at least hopefully I won't humiliate myself in my driver's test itself. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Test day. How did the test itself go, you may wonder? Here are some dramatic reenactments for your viewing pleasure.
I've had to pull out and redo this parking job 3 times now. No one would ever choose to parallel park on such a busy road. Did I just hit the curb? Sorry, just the snow at this time of year. You know how it is. Did he just tell me that I'm doing it wrong? That I'm not supposed to start reversing it? Do I not even know what a 3-point turn is? I'm in this test. I thought I was gonna fail. I didn't know. I didn't even know what a 3-point turn. Where am I? Oh, I'm sorry. I was just taught a different version. Completely understand what you're saying. Just give me a moment to recalibrate.
But for reals, I'm not joking. I did actually have to be told by the instructor during the test that I was doing a completely wrong 3-point turn. During the test. That was, you know, the test to prove that I know everything there is to know about driving. After the 3-point turn, I was sort of struggling not to cry, but I managed to keep it together, and we made our way back to the office, and we parked, and then it was time for him to tell me the results.
Here I am, and it's after the test. And I passed. I passed. For that temporary driver's license, bitch. The dude, when we pulled into the driver's thing, he said, "So you succeeded, but here's some things we want to go over." And I was like, "Succeeded? He must have misspoke." Succeeded? What? The rental car that carried me through this experience. And there it is, the horrible, dismal area of the driver's test across from a racetrack. This is where I drove. This is where I conquered. This is where I succeeded. I am legit, like, in shock because I almost started crying. The drive back to, like, the drive center during the test, I was like, don't cry, it's fine. You know you failed, but you can't cry in front of this very stern-looking man. Just be an adult about this. Me and this little rental car, we did it. We done did it together. Guess who got their G? Guess who has a driver's license now? This adult.
Yes, it's true. At the ripe young age of 24, I'm finally a fully licensed driver. My parents were all happy for me afterwards and said, like, oh, we believed in you. We knew we knew you were gonna pass. But I fully didn't, especially not after I drove a worse road test than my G2 test. If you ask me, the reason that I did pass despite screwing up so many things is that I didn't let my mistakes rattle me to the point of being a dangerous driver. I kept my cool, and I followed the laws of turning and speeding and lights and whatnot. And there was this one moment where this car that was parked at the side as I was coming up to pass it pulled out in front of me really sharply, really suddenly. And I saw that this was happening, and so I slowed down and I let it in. And after this happened, the driving instructor sort of relaxed. And he said, that guy didn't check his blind spot, did he? And I said, no, he did not. And we both kind of were like, yeah, he didn't check his blind spot, what a fool. And I feel like the driving instructor after that thought to himself, this girl is not going to cause an accident. She's not going to win any driving prizes, but she pays attention on the road, and that is the bare minimum that we can ask of our drivers. And you know what? I'll take it. I may not be the best parallel parker, but you know what I am? Not a menace on the road. Anyhow, that's a huge stress gone from my life. It's a big life skill gained. Check that off the list. And I'll be heading home now and returning to normal. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. And if you have any stories of your own about driving tests or just driving in general, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear that I'm not the worst driver to ever pass a driving test. Anyway, barring that, I will see you guys next time. Stay safe on the road. Alright, bye. Oh, won't somebody come and throw me down? Oh, I mixed up the brakes and the gas today, went up over the curb, just sat there for a while, half up and half down. The wheels were spinning. It's a really dramatic song.
I mean, is the constant screaming necessary?
Yes.